There's a church in the valley by the wildwood, no lovelier place in the dale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as the little brown church in the vale.
Good afternoon. We have the sun out.
Yay!
How about that? I'm a member of the local American Dowsers chapter. We meet in Bedford, Massachusetts. The woman who runs it is multi-talented. I initially met her like about 18 years ago, where I was getting ready to perk some land and also to find a well on 9 acres that I owned out in Petersham that was mostly field. And there was a section of that 9 acres where I used to go out there and in a shamanistic practice draw a circle around myself and call the quarters in. Usually things would happen. I would hear deer or coyotes or neighbors' dogs, whatever. So whenever she showed up, I said to her, this is where I think the well should go. And she went over there with a plastic Y rod, not one made from hazelwood or what it is, plastic. She went over to the area that I said to go to, and the dowsing rod went down and it snapped and it broke. So here comes Henshaw Drilling Company. I think they're out of Hubbardson. And they come in with their old truck and they go across the field and they dig one hole and they go down 140 feet and they hit a dome. The pressure initially came up with 100 feet per minute and then it slowed down. Apparently there was an aquifer. Of course, this is near the Quabbin. It's about, 8 miles away from like the Quabbin itself. And the point of it is that I could feel the current, the negative ions from an underground stream. And it saved me a lot of money to have a dowser go out there and, have that rod snap and go down. And I saved thousands of dollars. To have such talent and to learn how to do this is important, and it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. So yesterday, our class, they meet once a month, about 8 or 9 months out of the year, was about they're actually SBB coils, this is a misprint, SSB is SBB coils, and I think it stands for Super Buster something or other. We're not too sure where the name of just the spiral, the modern name for the spiral came. We talked about the spiral itself, and it's made with a 20.65 length of wire. Of course, the preference is to use copper, but you can also use other types of wire. And for the purposes of this class, we had something a lot less expensive than copper. And Susan, who taught the class, says it really doesn't matter. It's the energy that you put into it while you're actually making it. We talked about that, and we talked about the Triskelion, which is the 3 spirals, as I'm passing around with this paper. Now, the coil itself, depending on if it's switched to left and right, when it's facing the left, that's the negative pole, the female pole. When it's facing right, that's the male pole, the positive pole. And I think the female pole draws down and the male pole, I think, draws up. They changed the flow of etheric energy from negative to positive. The spiral coil is perfect for amplifying energy in your home, car, devices. People frequently wear them around their neck. Sometimes you'll see people with little gems right in the middle. They can be carried on yourself in your purse, and they can also be placed around a home, and they can be used to charge food, plants, water. And it's suggested to use them for such purposes. And there's various ways of making these things. Some people leave them flat, some people pull them out, and some people rewrap them with additional coils around them to like amplify it. I can also say, as far as like, this is part of like radionics, and it's also, this particular formula of using a coil is also used with pulse electronic magnetic frequency machines, usually represented as a mat that you lay on that produces positive and negative charges through it by magnification. And NASA's been using this technology for well over 30 years, and athletes purchase these units. The most famous one, I think, is called a Beamer, and it's made in Germany, and it's $6,000 with the machine to like operate it. What's in there? Copper coils. So we worked on making some of these, and it was for a specific purpose. The other one that we made was the Triskelion, and the most famous ones of these are Greek, and it's the three legs and feet spinning around. Now, mind you, these images are found around the world. Frequently, they're found in caves. They were used at burial sites. They are, well, what's the place in England called? Stonehenge? Yeah, Stonehenge. You saw them over at Stonehenge, right? I wasn't there. Okay, all right. They are various landmarks, and it's not just Europe that has these. These are like around the world, and they produce energy. What we're talking about is sacred geometry here. It's really important. It's found in nature, and it's found throughout life, and it's found throughout the universe itself. When you measure angles of one planet to another, to like a specific location, all this adds up to sacred geometry. And of course, the most famous number that we know is pi, 1.618 plus. Now, the Triskelion is an ancient symbol with a powerful connection to water, dated back to Neolithic times. It has amazing ability to neutralize harmful energy. The Triskelion, that's the three separate coils, raises the vibrational frequency of water and protects it from harmful electromagnetic fields. They can also be used to protect biological organisms. And as you can understand by me reading what I just read here, that it can also help with EMF overload, which is something that we experience these days with all the electronics that we have. They can also enhance plant growth, place near a plant in the soil, place under or over objects to like energize them. So we proceeded to make a whole bunch of these things with the intention to purify a particular area. And unbeknownst to me, because I think I probably went to the bathroom at that time, one of our members, and she drives all the way from Western Mass. It's about a 2+ hour drive to get there and then back home. She owns a house that was a former Masonic lodge or an Odd Fellows lodge. And that place is active with a lot of ghosts and paranormal activity and poltergeists. And I focused on it, and I just thought, oh, it's not negative, but it's crowded. They're still meeting in their location, and they're doing their ritualistic work. I mean, I'm a girl. I don't know exactly what Masons do, but honest to God, you can go to a used bookstore here and there and you can buy a 33 or 32nd degree book, and I recommend the 32nd degree book over the 33 Scottish Rite or the York Rite. I do know this much, that they reflect and they study ancient religious practices such as the Greek, such as the Egyptian, whatever. Well, apparently this, and I don't think it's that big of a building. It must have been a relatively small group of people, but the Masons, of course, are dying out at this point. So the house, she says she's owned it for like 20 years, and it's had a lot, she's kind of just a little bit exhausted with things being moved around and all this stuff happening. So we were making these coils to be placed around the house. And our head dowser said, draw a map of your home. First floor and second floor. Draw a layout, a plan of your house. So that's what she did. Then she got out her pendulum, and with her finger, she traced each room. And if it became, she first asked the pendulum, where should the spirals go? How many go on this floor? You would say 3 or 5. And then she with her finger traced where the vortexes were in the house to place these. And then she did the same thing with the Triskelion. And I said, of course me, I'm always asking 29 questions. I said, how do you, what difference does it make, or how do you know which one to place there? And she says, it's not important. Like, I'm going to let the pendulum tell me what to do, and I'm not going to question it. It's the intent which we made these, and they're going to be placed within the house. Now, paranormal groups don't really like to get rid of spirits. This is an entertainment thing. That scientifically we want to probe that there's spirits in this building and they're active. We want to hear the voices say, get out. We want to be able to see the shadows floating around and all this kind of stuff. So, paranormal groups, it's for their own entertainment and best interest, as we do have nearby here in Gardner, Mass,
SS Pierce.
Yeah, SS Pierce building, which is now becoming a national monument of ghostly activity. Someone has bought that. A dentist in New Jersey bought it. And he spent a lot of money upgrading this, and it's going to be an inn that you can go spend the night in. I think that's what the plan is. And a few other events. And the last thing they want is for these spirits to leave, because it's not going to do them any good. So this process I was going through yesterday was about calming down a house and quieting it down. And let me tell you something. I would have never have thought of this in a million years. I really wouldn't, because there are many different ways of banishing property, and a lot of it has to do with prayers, and it's a multicultural thing. And there's different ways of cleansing. Everybody goes sage, 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 but that's best done if you have the specific Native American fetishes to make things go away. And then there's prayers from all over the planet on how to release negative energy. But in this case, we were using sacred geometry, and I will find out next month, or in the next couple of months, how effective this has been. And I was really amazed at what she was doing. There is a whole way to train yourself to use maps, to use diagrams of houses. I'm reflecting about 5 or 6 years ago, going to the Dowsers Convention on the East Coast here, that at the time was up in Vermont, and listening to some people that came down from Canada. One of the most remarkable stories I heard was a man from Canada, I'm terrible with names, so don't even ask, was brought in to find a dead body in a huge lake or a pond. And he got in the boat with the divers, the police boat, and he got at the helm and he had the rod. Now there's a couple different dowsing tools. There's a pendulum, there's a Y rod, and there's a bobber. I think he was using the Y rod, that'll dip. And they're slowly going around the lake or the pond, and then the thing snaps down. And the divers go in there, and yes, they find the body. Another amazing story that I heard was a woman lost her diamond ring in her house, so she called up one of these folks. And they were on the phone for a while. These are workshops and classes that I took. And step by step, the dowser had the person walk them through their homes without seeing any pictures at all of the inside of this house. And they said it was important that you, when you're trying to find a lost object like a diamond ring, that you ask stuff like how high off of the ground, not just what corner of the room you're going to, because it could be in a drawer, it could be up, you know what I mean, 2 feet, 3 feet, who knows. So they went through the whole house and they couldn't find it. And the dowser was asking, is there an outbuilding on this property? And the woman said, yes, we have a shed. And he's dowsing that and says, no, that's not it. Is there anything else on your yard? Yes, we have an RV in the backyard too. So then the dowser has the woman walk him through the RV, and this is by measurement off of the ground. Do you know where her ring was? The cushions you remove to, eat, to turn it into an eating area as opposed to a sleeping area. She just stuck her hand in there and didn't feel it coming off between the cushions and the back of the seat. Found the ring. So in my own case, I one time lost my $700 pair of sunglasses. They're getting kind of old, but still, who wants to go spend that money, right? They're prescription glasses. And typically I get out of the car and I'm gonna go feed the birds in the winter, and I take the sunglasses and I do this. I stick it down in my bra. And that's exactly what I did. And I scooped up the bird seed and went around back and then forgot about it. Then couldn't find my glasses. And I'm like, where are my glasses? Did I leave them somewhere? I'm calling places and all this. Finally, I get the L rods out, which are made out of copper, and they swing back and forth. And you say, which way is yes and which way is no? You let it cross, it'll go apart. And it said, garage. So I'm out there, is it the car? No. So I'm out there with the L rods, and I end up over the garbage can where the bird seed is. And they go, beep! They cross like that. I have to get a flashlight, pull the bags aside, look down in there, and there are the glasses. So it's a matter of practice. It's a matter of practice, but also what we did yesterday, I'm looking forward to the results. And I've never heard of this for clearing out a house. And knowing Susan, she's really powerful. She's done a lot of amazing work. She's connected across the United States. I'm sure that this is going to work, and I'm interested. I will report back later how this works. Give me a couple months, okay? Thank you.
Excuse me, Tennie?
Yes.
Did you put some of these around your house?
No.
Oh, okay.
All the spirits hanging around me, as long as they behave themselves, are invited in. Okay? As long as they don't set off smoke detectors at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm good.
One more question to that.
Okay, yes.
Hi, do you know anything about the beamer machine? I know somebody who rents them, and I thought about doing it So I'm curious, because I did my research.
Most of the Rife machines and the PEMFs and all that stuff are insanely priced, $6,000 to $8,000. I've recently purchased a smaller type, a different unit from another company that's half price for all of this. The PEMF machines are good to restore cells because they work on switching the polarity of the mitochondrial within your cells. They switch back and forth to energize the cells. They are not used for curing of illness. They're used to help you restore health. The Rife machines are the ones that are used with the radio frequencies, and it's been around for a lengthy period of time. Those are the ones that are used to cure illnesses, and the bulk of the people that are purchasing these things are cancer and Lyme patients. So we can talk about it later. Okay, thank you.